Every time that music comes on, I'm like over here dancing in the background, waiting for everything to get started. It's probably like my favorite time is just to hear the music going right before we kick off. So I am so glad you're here. The question that I asked that I talk blah 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 blah, the thing that people call me about quite a bit is their pricing, right? Pricing is one of those things where people feel like because they hear objections from people of I have to move some money around or um, it's out of my budget, all those price objections that they hear that they really think that the problem that they're having is that they have a pricing problem. And a lot of times it's not actually a pricing problem, especially not nowadays when there are so many financing options that are available. It's really not necessarily a pricing problem. What we've really found is that a lot of times the pricing isn't properly anchored. So today is going to be a little bit about that. We're going to go for 60 minutes, just really getting in this. What I would suggest you do right now, right now, right now, right now. Number one, go get a pen and paper. And I want you to have one product, one offer in mind, one thing that you deliver. You know who my ideal client is. My ideal client is someone who's an expert in their industry. They have started their own business and it's an expert-led business. They're providing services. And number one is that they really want to make sure that their pricing and their offer is working. So go and grab a pen and paper right now. And I want you to have that offer at top of mind because we're about to jump in right now. You know me, we just get it going and get started and we keep going the whole way full steam ahead. So here's the question. And this is the first question for you. Again, make sure you have that pen and paper is this. Chat it, type in the chat. And remember, I can see your comments as you bring them up. So go ahead and chat it in the comments, regardless of what social media platform you're on, or if you're in the app which is sellingcertainty.app. Sellingcertainty.app, you can get the app and you can watch it in there. So chat this, be honest. Nobody's grading you. It's fine. Although I might call out your answers. Okay. How did you come up with your price? The actual number. And I can tell you some of the answers that I've heard before, but I want to read what you have here. So let me go and grab your comments. Here we go. All right. So the first one is, I looked at what the market said. So market rate. Other ones, what competitors charge, right? What competitors charge. And then I add a little, take away a little. Competitors, market rate competitors. That's like everyone is basically saying, I check what my competitor is doing. I check what the market rate was doing. Here's one. I took what I wanted to make per year and I did some math. Okay. I like that. Like, you're not going to tell me the formula though. It's fine. It's cool. All right. So, and at least one of you typed nothing. Like as many comments that are still coming in here, At least one of you typed nothing, because the honest answer is you probably don't even remember how you came up with the number. And that's okay. Here's the thing. If I asked you what you charge, though, you could probably tell me what that amount was to the penny. But you're probably having a harder time telling me exactly where it came from. And that's where the challenge is, because your clients can feel that. Let me tell you about Michael. So Michael runs a plumbing company. He owns the company. He's sharp. He's run it for 2 decades. And I asked him the other day, how did he set his price? And he was like, honest. He was like, I took what I wanted to pay my technicians, and then I stacked it 4 ways, so there's like 30, 35, 30 for the techs, there's 30 for the company, 30 for me, and like 35 for taxes. Right? I want you to notice what's missing though. There is not $1 for investment. There's not $1 for growth. He built his price, and its best case was that he was going to stay exactly where he is. And a lot of people do that, right? And you're like, oh my God, but he took like an hourly rate and multiplied it by 4. That should be enough. When you had a job, right, it was different. You don't know how they set that price. They had to pay you. A lot of people aren't on the inner workings of pricing, right? So anyway, he told me that that's how he set his price. And then one night he's scrolling, and this guy says, if you're not charging $450 an hour and you are in the plumbing industry, then you're never going to grow your business. And Michael told me, and I'm quoting him, he goes, I think the guy's full of shit. Like, honest to God, I sat there and I thought the guy's full of shit. But it also made me think it's probably the reason why I'm stuck. So both things can be true at the same time, right? That guy is full of crap, but I'm also stuck. So maybe I should take a closer look at that. Listen, my name is Donna St. Louis, and my clients own businesses they can trust their future with before they have to. So they can trust their retirement, their health care, everything to this business, because they know this business is going to support them. And I've spent decades building the business side for people exactly like you. They're attorneys, engineers, consultants, contractors, executives. They have decades of receipts and a price that keeps treating them like they're an opening bid. So we want to make sure that we correct that today. So here's what we're going to do for the next 60 minutes. So we're going to talk a little bit about, one, how your price actually got set, then brace yourself. Why just charge more is some of the crappiest advice anyone could ever give you, because it is crappy advice. I'm not telling you shouldn't charge more. I'm telling you just charge more is shit advice. Number 3, there's 3 parts to every real offer. And if you're not using them, or you're using them incorrectly, it's probably one of the reasons why people will tell you they have to think about it. And then you're going to map your offer. Here's the thing. That's why I need you to have your offer in front of you. Have an offer in front of you, because we're going to map it piece by piece. Okay. All right. Now, before I ask you to admit anything in this chat, I'm just going to tell you, first I'm going to lower my desk a little bit. It feels a little high to me today. That's right. That's studio magic right there. All right. So before I ask you to admit anything, I'm going to tell you something. Let me go first. I'm not describing you 90% of the time. I'm describing me. This is stuff that I went through in my own business. It's areas that I got stuck. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, oh, I had this figured out walking out of the womb, like I had it from birth. No. I got this good from really screwing the pooch a lot. Like, I screwed up a lot. So I can tell you a lot of places where I really had to go in and not only understand pricing, but understand the psychology of pricing, why certain prices speak to certain ways, why, they went from using $9.99, $9.97 to $19.99. There's a whole psychology behind that, right? So I just want you to know, if you hear me throwing stones, I'm not throwing them at you. I'm probably just describing me, and it's all good. Now, tell me if this sounds familiar. All I need you to do is write "been there" in the chat. Why are you writing "been there"? Somebody's literally typing "been there" right now. I see it. Yes. I haven't said anything yet. All right. Tell me when you recognize the issue, okay? Every proposal you put out turns into negotiation. You say the number, and then suddenly the person you're talking to is a ghost. They hear a suggestion and in regards to your number, and you find yourself bastardizing your offer. Like you start pulling apart your offer, and it's like a Frankenstein offer that you don't even recognize what your offer is for. And for some reason, when it comes down to that price, you're always the person who blinks first. You'll start saying your price and then you'll pull it back. Oh, this one. I have done this. I would say a price and then I would keep talking. It's 15,000, but that also includes, and it could also throw in, and if the timing's tight, we could. The customer hadn't said a word, not one word. I was negotiating with silence, and silence was kicking my ass. All right, look, the number of been there's it's over here is real. Somebody, so one of the comments is, yes, all the time. I can't, I have, she said she got this from me. I have verbal vomit on my clients and I try to stop it. Here's a quick tip. Keep like Sour Patch gummies or something like that, something that you could stuff in your mouth after you say a price so you can't keep talking, right? But yeah, you quote the price and before they said anything, you're already explaining it. You're adding context, extras, discounts nobody asked for. You're negotiating against yourself on your own proposal. And at some point, somebody told you to raise your rates. So you did. And when you did, you felt like you were walking around in, somebody else's really big suit. So you quietly, because the price was so big, you started putting other stuff in the pricing, in the product, in the offer. If it's this big, then we got to add, right? And so all of a sudden, the new price was doing more work than the old one. And what you did was you gave yourself a pay cut with a bigger number on it. We don't want to do that. All right. So when you're not sure, the other thing you do is you go and look at what the other guy charges. You go to other people's website and you start shopping them, right? You're looking at somebody with half your experience and you're calibrating decades of experience against their freaking Stripe account or Squarespace page. The thing is, you tried to fix this more than once, and none of it means your work isn't worth the number. It is. That's why you're here. What we want to do is figure out what the number should be based on what your offer actually is. That's what we need to do. So, are you charging enough? That's the question that brought you here. But it's the wrong question. Here's the real question. How did you set your price in the first place? And that was a question so many people couldn't answer. That's what we have to work on. How did you set your price in the first place? All right, let's go. So there's a pricing formula almost every expert in this room has used. All of you have used it, right? And it has a name. I don't even know if you recognize that you use this formula when you use this formula, but you definitely use this formula. And it's called POOYA. POOYA. POOYA pricing. Write that down. Ready? That is pricing that is pulled out of your ass. I see it. Because that's what it is. It's pulled out of your ass. And you know how I know that formula and how I know the name? Because honey, I'm the founding member. Okay, maybe you did a little math. Maybe you took your own pay and you multiplied it by 4 and you matched the guy down the street and you averaged 3 competitors and you shaved 10% or added 20% to be competitive, right? Honey, that's POOYA with a spreadsheet. That's still POOYA. That's all it is. So now we need to go ahead and do this. So before we go one step further, let's make sure you're in the right room, right? Listen, I waste as much time as I can on the front end because I really want y'all to have a pen and paper. Let's go. Now, I want to make sure you're in the right room because I hate for time to be wasted. Type me in the chat if you have the credentials. Like, you're like, I have the credentials, I'm licensed, or I'm certified, or I've had a senior title, or I have decades of experience, or I have deep expertise, and you already have an offer, something you've actually put in front of your buyer. If that's you, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, if you're still building your first offer from scratch, you're fine. Watch, take some notes, steal everything. But today is for the people who need to edit, who need to look at their offer and they're in edit mode. Again, I just don't want to waste your time because I'm not going to be going backwards explaining what an offer is from scratch. All right. So let me tell you how I set my first consulting rate. I called a friend at a bigger firm. I asked them what they build, and I knocked off 50% to compete because I was smaller than them. Yep, I was a low price leader chasing the bottom. You know what that tells people, by the way? I'm going to be half as good as the other person. That's all it says. And that was my whole strategy. Someone else's number that I totally discounted out of fear. I ran my business on that number for 2 years. Every single deal got negotiated badly by me because deep down, I couldn't defend the number. This is why people tell you they have to think about it, because here's the truth. You cannot defend the number. There was no meat behind that sizzle. It looked sexy, but there was no steak. Now, hear me on this, because the problem is not your number. I don't care how big it is. It's that your price is floating. It's not attached to anything. If I ask you to break down why your rate is your rate and you can't do it, then you'll find yourself negotiating against yourself. And the reason you negotiate against yourself is because you don't believe in your number in the first place. Because the answer doesn't start with the price. It starts with the offer under the price, and that needs real structure. Without it, the price becomes the only thing left to argue about. That's why sales conversations put you on defense. That's why they feel icky sometimes. That's why you feel like you're pushing someone into something because you can't actually justify the price. That's why you get surprised when somebody, quote, actually paid that. And for my hourly billers, don't think you've escaped this. Because I hear people, well, she's not talking about me because I bill by the hour. My attorneys, are you kidding me? I bill by the hour. No. Your Puya just has a decimal point on it. That's all. Let me tell you about KJ. KJ left corporate making $150,000 a year. So she went out on her own and she did the math that everybody does. 150,000 divided by 2,000 is $75 an hour. 2,000 working hours in a year. That was her logical rate. It felt logical. It felt fair. It felt like corporate math. Here's what the math left out. In corporate, all 40 hours are paid. In her business, only the billable ones were. Nobody was paying her to do marketing, the lead generation, the sales, the social media, the bookkeeping, the networking, all the working in her business instead of on it. She wasn't getting paid for it because she did not price it properly. So to take home what corporate paid her for 40 hours, she had to work 90, sometimes 100 hours a week. She didn't underprice herself. She priced herself into a second unpaid full-time job. And here's the part that stings. Even if you charge more than KJ did, the hourly rate is a trap at any rate. Let me show you why. It's a cap. Do the math with me. Let's say you charge $100 an hour, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. That's 200,000 billable hours. And you're like, Donna, that's good money. That's your ceiling. If you never market, you never sell, you never take Tuesday off, it is $200,000. That's it. That's the lid. You get 2 weeks of vacation a year. You capped your own income the day you picked an hourly rate. And now you have people arguing about what you actually did for that hour that was worth $100. The only question left was how tired you've been when you hit the cap. Because 2,000 billable hours takes about another 1,500 unbillable hours to get there. So you're talking about 3,500 hours per year. You're going to be dead ass tired. You're working 70, 80 hours a week. Forget about vacation. The way out of that math is to stop selling hours. Project pricing Price is the outcome. That's it, the outcome. Yes, even attorneys. Flat rate, project based, it's done every day. Ask my client, Brita Long. Love Brita. That's what she shows people how to do. Happier Attorney, how to price a flat rate. But here's the catch. You can't price the outcome that you haven't defined, which is why we're not starting at the price. We're starting at the shape underneath it. So here's the big picture really fast. Your business runs on 6 building blocks. If you're lucky, successful businesses run on 6 to 9, but these are the 6 that turn your expertise into revenue. They're not 6 tactics, not 6 tools. They're 6 building blocks that all point to the same ultimate destination for your client. We're about to talk about one slice. Let me tell you, by the way, really quickly, clients who struggle run on maybe 2 of these. That's their expertise in marketing. They usually hate sales and they don't want to do lead generation. And their offers are bastardized. But when they're solid and they're running on all 6, it really starts to become money. So today we're going to talk about one slice. And today I will show you how to structure your offer so that your price sticks. Because a price has to be bolted to something. And here's what bolted sounds like. For $25,000 in 6 months, I turn your expertise into revenue. And it's not just any revenue, it's predictable, consistent revenue. And we work together until we can predict what revenue you're going to get every 3 months, period. We use the 6 methodology, it delivers results. That's the price, the outcome, the time frame, the mechanism, all bolted. Right now, most of the time when I talk to people, their prices aren't bolted to anything. That's what they charge, so that's what I'm going to charge. No. They're just numbers standing alone in an open field. By the end of this, your prices are going to be bolted to something. So please have that paper. All right. If you have the app and you are a paid member, then click on your masterclass and grab your workbook because we're going to be using the workbook. If you don't have the app, then honestly, you're standing outside, you're in the window, like you're peeking in, like your face is all pressed against the glass. Take notes. It's fine. The view is great. Steal everything. You can still come inside. I think there is time. If you come inside, you're going to get the workbook. You're going to get the replay of this class for 1 week, and you're going to get a 30-minute audit where I sit and literally go over your homework and I look at your offer and I point you in the right direction. You'll also get a chance of getting on the hot seat because everyone in the app has a link right in their profile that says, hey, I want to get on the hot seat, and they can come in. So paid members are allowed to get on stage anytime I want. So when I call for a hot seat, you click it and you're up. That's it. Just go to sellingcertainty.net and you can grab the app. So Michael said, how do I get my company to realize they're only executing on 3 of the 6? Easy. Have them come here. We talk about it every single week, every week. All right, grab your pen. Answer this question. Consider your main offer. Remember, we're just going to pull one offer, just one offer. That's it, right? I want you to consider your main offer, just that one thing. The formula I'm going to show you works for all of your offers. So I just want you to pick the one that you want to get everyone into. All right, when you got it, just type got it in the chat. I'm checking right now. All right, got it. Okay. I'm assuming GI is got it and that you don't have gastrointestinal problems. Okay, so I see a lot of got it's coming through on the chat. All right, here we go. Don't think. First thing out of your mouth. For this offer, what's the price? Write it down. What's the price for this offer? Got it? I know you're some of you go, well, it depends on the seats and da-da-da, and I understand that. I need you to give me your average. Take your average and then give me a price. And then, number 2, what exactly does the client get for it? Exactly the way you would say it on a sales call. What exactly does the client get for it? All right? So I'm gonna put $29 a month and access to the app. Okay. So I'm gonna put $10,000 in the boot camp. All right. $2,500 and time on my calendar. Okay. $1,000 a month, better communications. $1,000 a month, more clarity. $1,500 a month, transformation. Okay. Keep it nearby. We're going to use it. $2,500 a month, social media. $2,500 a month. 25. Okay, so there's a lot of $2,500, $1,000 a month. Some people are giving me like their overall price. You're good. You're good. All right, here we go. Now look at what you wrote. When you start thinking about what they get, did you write that list as stuff? By the way, we already know the answer, right? Sessions, deliverables, calls, access, reports, templates, a specific product. You're right. That's price attached to a pile of stuff. Don't fix it. It's too late. I already read your stuff. It's okay. Let's keep going. I didn't get what I'm going to tell you about like from just random book. I got it from an autopsy. When I was running my consultancy, I pulled every proposal we'd sent over 2 years. And I laid them all out on a conference table. And at the time, I was running a business intelligence company. Our proposals could be anything from a $500,000 discovery session to $500,000. I'm sorry, gotta say it right, $500,000 discovery session to a $5 million business intelligence solution based on what they were looking for, right? And we looked at the ones that we won, the ones that we lost, the ones that damn near kill us, the deals that closed clean. Every one of them led with a single line about where the client would end up. So Michael says we have 25 finders, all different outcomes, different prices. But if I summarize it, it's the safety, peace of mind of community trusted operational efficiencies that save time, money, and effort. So pick one of those and then define what one of them gives, and we're going to do the pricing thing. Just pick one. So when we looked at it, we looked at every one of them, and what we found was the ones that were winning, the ones that were really good, they led with a single line about where the client would end up. But the deals that bled, that were painful, page after page of everything they get. Like it was a list. You're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this. It was a menu, right? Same firm, same people, same expertise. The difference was the shape of the offer. Every real offer is built from 3 parts, the same 3 parts. Every industry, every price point. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to draw a triangle on your paper, an upside down triangle, not right side up. So if you drew it right side up, just turn your paper upside down, right? In its simplest form, every offer answers 3 questions. Where does my ideal client want to go? Because they're here and they want to be there. They're here with this problem. They're here stuck with this crap, with this problem, with this thing they can't solve. They want to be there. And they want you to use your expertise to get them there. So that's where we start. Then the second part is the how, the vehicle. How will you get them there? And then the last part is support. What makes the journey better and easier for that client? That's what we're going to go over. It's 3 rounds. Ready? Let's go. So workbook out, clean page. Ready? 2 anchors at the top before you map anything. What is the ultimate destination of your business? So, Michael, you actually wrote that. If I had to summarize, that what you wrote was the safety and peace of mind, community trust, operational efficiencies that save money, time, and effort, right? So the ultimate destination for the business is we want to make sure that students driving buses equipped with TransFinder software and products, that those products deliver safety, peace of mind, operational efficiency. That's where the business takes clients. So we know that's the ultimate destination, right? So write the ultimate destination first. If you're sitting here going, holy crap, I don't know what our ultimate destination is, then best kept secret. That's you, because you need to know that. We have Michael Bentley here. I'm going to use Michael Faulkner, the gentleman who runs the plumbing company. His ultimate destination for his clients is this. And it's so important to have this. If you don't have it, then your business isn't all pointing in the same direction. You start going all over the place. It's the one thing you have to have in your business, and people completely ignore it and then wonder why their business is pointing in 800 different directions. His is to elevate how his clients experience water at home and in life. It's not something he's putting on his website, right? If he does, it's all the way at the bottom. It's not something he's putting out but it is what drives everything they do. So when he says something like, hey, does that thing that we're about to offer that client, does that elevate the experience they have with water in their home and in their life? No, then we're not doing that. And it's literally, he asks it all the time, because that's where he wants his clients to ultimately end up. He wants them to end up having an elevated experience with water in their home and their life. Now, if you already have that sentence, drop it in. You should have had it, like I said, from the Best Kept Secret workshop. If you don't come up with these fog words or whatever. Just write the result your best client would brag about at dinner. Number 2, the one buyer that actually signs the paper. What we find is so many people are talking to the wrong person. You're talking to the person who's going to, like, for example, use the software instead of the person who's writing the check, right? You're talking to the kids who are going to be using the pool instead of the dad who's going to be paying for the pool heater. You're talking to everyone else. I want to know whose hand literally signs the check, not the market, the actual individual person. Okay? Because everything you're going to do is going to map to that person. All right, let's go. Round 1. In Best Kept Secret, we talked about your business having an ultimate destination, the place your clients want to reach. Your ideal clients are the travelers. They want to go there. And at that destination, there are points of interest. Points of interest are the ways your travelers or your clients actually experience the destination once they choose it. I want you to think of these as your different offers. Because think about it. The ultimate destination I'm going to use plumbing because that one's really easy. The ultimate destination for Michael's plumbing company is we want to elevate how our clients experience water at home and in life. Got it. What are the different, and who are the travelers? Homeowners, right? Specifically, he talks a lot to wives. And then what are the points of interest? Water filtration. How does the water taste in my home? Heated water. Some people just want tankless water, want regular water heaters. Other people want never-ending water. They do not want to race with the cold water to rinse conditioner out of their hair. Right? The plumbing infrastructure, the fixtures that the water comes out of, the appliances that use water. Those are the 5 points of interest for his business. What are the points of interest for your business? According to Bentley, they have 25 points of interest for their business. Not everyone comes to you ready to reach the ultimate destination. In other words, consuming every part of your suite. But some people want to experience different parts, right? So if the ultimate destination was Nepal, some travelers want to go to the Sunkoshi River. Some travelers want to go to Everest. Some want to do both. Some want to go down to Market Street. It's all about what they want to do. That's why you have offers. because those offers are the points of interest. What's the thing is that most people don't understand why people would be interested in that offer in the first place. Right? So this is the example for Michael. Elevate my client's experience, how my clients experience water in their home and life. And here are all the ways that they do that. Each one of those is an offer. What are yours? This is important. A lot of people have offers and then wonder why they're not selling because there's no interest. So it is not a point of interest at all, but you put it together anyway. That's why it's not selling. So we take a single point of interest and we put it in here. It's the bottom of the triangle, narrow point. That's the point of interest. That's your where. That's where the traveler wants to go. The outcome, the result, the reason anybody hands over money, not what you do, what is true for the buyer when you're done doing what you do. Say it one more time. It's not what you do. It's what's true for the buyer when you're done doing what you do. So many times when I talk to people about their offer, they're telling me the thing, they get an app. What's true for me from consuming that app? Right? Or they're like, oh, they got this, they got the AirPods, point of interest, AirPods. No, what's true for me when I get these AirPods? Crystal clear sound without having to wear bulky headsets. Something that integrates effortlessly and seamlessly with all of my other Apple devices. Innovative ways. This is all true for me once I bought the product. So what is the one thing that's true? That's why this part of the offer carries the name. It's not a metaphor, right? What I want you to think about is what you offer. It's literally what your offer is: a real arrival, real value, the way the experience has a destination, your business promise. One offer, one point of interest. Your next offer, different point of interest. Same destination, different point of interest. Here's the part that makes the whole thing work. A point of interest is not interesting until someone is interested in it. That's why I made you write down the buyer who actually signs before. Before we map anything, I want to know that person that you wrote down, are they actually interested in that product? Or did you just make another product to see if somebody would buy it? If there's no traveler, no customer, no interest, there's no point. Why'd you build it? Why are you selling it? You're not even interested in it. You're not even showing up. Don't give a crap. I'm sitting here right now. There are 57 people. So why am I doing this masterclass? Because they're interested. Would I do this masterclass if there was no interest? I would not. The point of interest is the one thing only you deliver the way you deliver it. It can't be shopped or compared. And here's the kicker. It's the smallest part of the drawing, but it carries all of the weight. Now, let me show you a broken one. Actually, three of them actually. See if they sound familiar. My clients get confidence and clarity. That's not an outcome. That's a horoscope. No one can see it happen. 12 weekly sessions with me. Congratulations. That's not an outcome. That's a delivery schedule wearing a point of interest costume. Full access to my complete template library. Sugar, that's called the extras, pretending to be the point. A broken point of interest describes you, your activity, your calendar, your stuff. A real one describes them. Okay, your turn. First zone on the map. What is the outcome? What's true for one buyer who signs when it's done? Check yourself as you write. If it reads like 12 spots on my calendar, that's a costume. If it sounds like your industry and too much of your insider work language, that's not good either. It needs to sound like your customer. By the way, if you're stuck, we did a workshop called Best Kept Secret last week, where you literally take your clients and come up with what that destination is, and you'll use it all the time forever and ever. Amen. You need that. It's coming up again in 5 weeks. Now, let me show you what a point of interest sounds like when it's done right. Michael's customers were never buying a tankless water heater install. That's not what they were buying. And it's funny because I know Michael Bentley actually got one. We talked about it when he got one. They're buying endless hot water and never having to rush rinsing out the conditioner because the water starts to get cold. They're buying that jacuzzi tub filled to the rim with steaming hot water. They're buying a holiday weekend when all the family is there and 3 hot showers are running all at the same time. They're buying a new way to experience their shower at the end of a long workday. And by the way, why do you think we chose showers? Because his clients say the number one way that they experience hot water in their home is in the shower. And by the way, they're buying it fast. Size, source, running hot water, they get it in 48 hours. This is the other thing that's important. When you start thinking of your core, of the bottom, that point of interest, you have to make sure, what is the core? What is the speed associated with it? And then what's the guarantee? For them, it's sized right the first time to deliver an experience beyond what they even thought they would ask for. Those are the things you want to think about. So now, how does he know that? Because during his audit, we asked the best kept secret. We started from his ultimate destination. And the one thing you saw on his map a few minutes ago, we asked them, how do you experience hot water? They said in the shower. We didn't pull it out of our ass. It wasn't a pooyah moment for us. We actually said, how do you experience hot water in your home? And that's where all the marketing is. It's pointing right at that. He's not selling tankless heaters. He's selling endless hot water. So his points of interest take his product, for his product is tankless hot water, elevate how you wash away the long workday and step into your life. This is why you need your destination. This is why you need your product. This is why you need to understand the point of interest. Did you just put some product? Did you just put some comfort words like transformation that lack specificity? Does it feel like there's a gap? That gap is normal because that's the work. And here's a trap that you might step into. You're looking at what you wrote and thinking, it's a decent start. I'll polish this up on the weekend. Look, sweetie, you've been polishing this up for years. That's why you're here. The problem was never effort. The problem is vision. You can't read the label from inside the jar. So you can't see that this is strangling you. You can only see your brilliance. 9 times out of 10, what an expert calls their point of interest is a vehicle wearing a point of interest costume. That's the first thing I check in the audit. So check 1, is your point of interest actually a point of interest for your clients? Or is it just an offer that you slapped together because you thought you could sell it? Okay, round 2. The middle of the triangle is called the vehicle. This is your how you get them there, from here to there, and how the outcome gets achieved. It's your process, your method, your timeline, your crew, the site visit. The name earns something. It's called your vehicle because it carries your client from where they are today to where they want to be, the arrival point, the point of interest. No vehicle, no trip. Because hear this. Nobody books a flight because they love the freaking plane. They book it because of where it lands. Vehicle supports the point of interest. It's not the point of interest. Too many people sell the process. You're not selling the process. Having a process just makes your sell work better. So here's a broken version. How long does it take? Well, it depends. Everyone's different. However long you need. That's not flexibility, that's fog. And you know what the buyer hears? There's no track record. There's no end in sight. They really don't know if they can get me there. The other broken version, the vehicle is so thin that it discounts you. If Michael's version was just pick a heater, install a heater, he'd be discounting his work on paper before he ever gave him a number. A foggy vehicle doesn't get argued with, it gets ghosted. So your turn, second zone. How does the outcome happen? Yes, I am asking you to literally write down the process, the method, the timeline. 3 to 5 things, the actual moves. A person comes to you, they're going to work with you. How do you get them from there to there? Please don't just say 12 sessions, 3 sessions, 8 sessions. What do they do in those 12 sessions? What do they do in those 3 sessions? Don't say customer support, project management. I need to hear some specificity in this. Be specific enough so that your buyer can actually see the path. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds and I'm going to take some questions. Let's see. Okay, so my vehicle feels like it's all over the place because I take clients so many places. That would be a thing, yes. Here's the other one. Wait, should I put all of my points of interest in the bottom triangle? No, you do one of the, there should be a triangle for every offer. How will I know if my client is interested in my offer if I never put out an offer? This is where, honestly, you should be surveying your audience. You should be asking them before you spend a whole lot of time building something. Seriously. I see that too often. People go and build an offer. They have no idea if their clients want it. And clients are stuck with crap they didn't want. And you're stuck doing something that you didn't want to do. All right, let's keep going. So I'm going to use Michael's again. His how has a name. It's called the All-Star Elevated Experience. And catch the word he chose, elevated. The same as his ultimate destination, to elevate how his clients experience water and life at home. The method rings the note, the destination set. So for someone like Michael, it's not just about turning the wrench. It's about what the homeowner wants to experience. He doesn't just install a heater. He first goes in and says, what's the best placement for the homeowner? The heater right outside of the master bathroom that delivers water instantly in the morning is everything. They don't have to wait a couple of minutes. It's right there. The wrong size heater that can't handle demand, but they're trying to, it's about price. I'm trying to get down on price. He'll say, hey, I can give you a cheaper one. You're going to be pissed. Your water's never going to be as hot as you want it to be. If I give you the one that's right for the size of your home now and what you're looking to do in the future, you won't have to replace your shower, your heater when you decide to do that car wash shower. So it's not about pricing. It's about understanding how they want to experience hot water today and sizing a heater to exceed the demand. How are you doing that for your customers? I want you to name your vehicle. I want you to actually name it. Give it a name. Because this is what he does. These are his 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. We literally sat down and wrote this out. This is all before he ever picks the right heater and installs it. And I'm using someone in a trade on purpose. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, Donna, you only work with, people who are coaches or consultants. No, I work with people who are in the trades as well. I work with people who have software companies. Because this is universal. And notice, this isn't a quote generated from a phone call. Someone walks in the house, someone asks the question. The homeowner's job is in all of it. Answer those questions, pick a day, that's it. Michael's company carries the rest, from walkthrough to hot water running, usually inside of 48 hours. That's just a bit of the vehicle. The outcome starts to feel inevitable before anyone says a price. They're imagining never having to get out of the shower because the water got cold. Now, let me say the quiet thing out loud. For somebody like you who's brilliant at what you do, booking an audit feels a little backwards because you're the expert, right? You know your shit. You review the contracts. You check other people's work. You're the one they call when they've run out of ideas. Sitting on the other side of the desk, handing your work over to somebody to be checked. Look at what you do for a living. You are the second opinion. Your clients are the smartest people in their building, and they're still bringing the contract to you. Because being smart is not the same as outside. It's not the same outside. You're in the jar. It is really hard to read the damn label. I have coaches for this very reason. I know I can't read the label from outside the jar. So that's check 2 on your audit. Does your vehicle make the outcome for your client feel inevitable? Or is it the fog that's been making your buyers ghost you? Because it could be. Now, the wide part at the top, your support. This is your what. It's what makes the journey for the buyer better. And so many people screw this up big time. Big time. They'll say they'll like the extras, the templates, the scripts, it's all great. But let me tell you where people screw this up. They'll say, Donna, our program has a library of 250 sales videos that you can watch at any time. All I heard is something that I am never going to do. I am never in my whole freaking life going to Google through 250 freaking videos to find 1 minute of content that I could possibly need. That, when you put too many extras, what you do is you start muddying up the offer so much that the client gets overwhelmed and they think that you have to put all that stuff in there. The only thing that you should put in there is what actually makes the journey better for the client. Let me tell you one of the things that people sleep on all the time. Checklists. Simplest thing in the world. Checklists. A simple checklist goes so much further than you can imagine, and so many people don't do them. So the support part is everything they need to fully experience the point of interest, right? So it might be a single point of contact. It might be access to Slack. It might be access to an app. But here's a rule. Write it down. Support is not the promise. It supports the promise. And here's the thing. I'm the broken example on this one. I once sold an offer that was 90% support. Bonuses, templates, resource library with way too much on the table of contents. I was so proud of how much was in it. I led every pitch with that damn pile, and it converted like a damn brick. I told smart buyers the real thing that I had to offer must be thin, because look at all the padding I put around it. You don't want to do that. Smart buyers will walk away if you have too much of this crap on there. I love people who always talk about our support team is there. Why do you need so much support team? Like, does your app not work? I would prefer for you said, you know what? We have somebody that is on demand for support. We have someone assigned to you, and we can do that because, quite honestly, they don't get called that often. Now I know your app works, but if I'm sitting here going, if you're telling me we got 24/7 support, you can get somebody all the time. I'm like, damn, y'all must get a lot of calls. Got to be careful in how you use the support part. So it's your turn. It's the last zone. Every extra, every bonus, every also thing that you also get, be honest, list all of it. Even the ones you're proud of, even the ones you're not proud of, list everything. And then you're going to pull back and decide what you really don't need from it. And you're going to say, how does this thing support the client getting to the point of interest? Because if we look at Michael's warranty program, these are the things that he has, right? It's a 5-year warranty, a maintenance plan, a step-by-step checklist. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how many times people go back and they download this damn checklist, right? Priority and after hour support, bulk pricing on you. He has all of this stuff that's included in his. Not one of those is the reason that people hired him, though. They're the things that they get afterwards. It's the one thing, honestly, his list was longer, and it's the one thing that we had to pull back. And I was like, no, you're putting too much stuff. People don't even want all of that, and you're just padding it. When things started to get padded, people started to get uninterested. Which brings me to check 3 on the audit. Which of your support pieces have been burying your point of interest? And what have you been accidentally pricing instead of the outcome? This is the whole call that we're going to look at. Is your point of interest actually a real point of interest? Does your vehicle make it feel inevitable? And what's burying it? Plus, based on the offer you mapped, how your price gets structured on top of it. Not bolted, not floating, in writing. It's 30 minutes, 3 checks. That's the call. And it's $97. Just hop on with me. And there is a price for it because I don't like people getting on the call wasting my time. So if you're serious, I'm willing to look at your stuff. So you're booked today. You're on my calendar. Make sure you show up with that. 3 parts named, price, direction in writing, because I only guarantee what I can deliver. And one more thing about a call, it's not an associate. You're actually going to be on the phone with me, my eyes, your offer. Make sure the link is in the app. Now, I want you to look at your map, and I want you to look at what you started with. The one that had the price on it. What zone was it living in? Where was your offer actually living? Was it living in the ultimate destination? Was it living in the core? Like you're like, this is the one thing they get, the one thing that it does? Were you selling more of the vehicle? I heard a lot of people selling the vehicle. I have a lot of people right now typing, I was selling the vehicle. Yes, I see. Yes. A lot of people were selling the vehicle. The point of interest, the one thing that can't be shopped, has been sitting at the bottom of the drawing, whispering. And the thing is, it needs to be the thing that it's the strongest point of the triangle. It's the thing you should actually be leading with. So listen, I know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for me to tell you the number. So how do you actually price this? Ready? We don't do that here at all. I can't tell you how to price your number because pricing is so much more than that. The wrong price on a real point of interest is worse than a vague price on fog. You set it too low and you've anchored yourself there for years. You set it too high and without the structure to deliver it, and you break your own promise. What this specific outcome is worth to this specific buyer at this specific moment in your business, that's a judgment call that we need to discuss together. Most experts have never once run those numbers on a price. That's not just a flaw. That's a conversation nobody's had with them yet. And it's a conversation, and it's not a conversation that you're going to do here. Like, we literally need to sit and look. Profit, your own salary, reinvestment, tools and expenses, everything. What are you spending on a monthly basis? What is your real cost? How do we really come up with your price? There are moves that make an offer a high ticket offer, and there are moves that make an offer a low ticket offer. And we're going to talk about those next time. So we're going to talk about, how do I take my $5,000 offer and turn it into a $50,000 offer? How do I take my $97 offer and turn it into a $1,500 call? How do I do that? Next time, we're going to do that. We're going to literally go. So right now, I want you to remember you have 3 parts of your offer: your core, the very bottom, your vehicle, how they get there, and the support, how you support them. Those are the 3 things you need to look for. All right. So here's where you are. You've got a map with the 3 zones filled in and a workbook with 1 line still blank. which is all about the price. If you're interested, all you got to do, you have the link in the app. And if you don't have the app, you don't have the link. Sorry, that's just how it works. So if you have the app, you have the link, go ahead and grab your call. It was so great to have you here. And you didn't come here, by the way, because you're bad at pricing. You're one of the best in your market. And everybody who's worked with you, they know you're the best in your market. You came here because your price kept getting treated like a suggestion. And today you found out why. You're not leveraging the triangle to get it done. The thing under it just had no shape. There's nothing to anchor to it. Now go give it one. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday, same time, same place.